moderate the Bates Motel panel today, and thank you guys so much for coming. This is our Hall H right now, okay? The lights, okay. They attempted suicide and were sent to a mental hospital. They seduced to kill for revenge. They fled town. Their house burned down. They discovered that their father was their uncle. That was a little complicated. They stopped a drive-by shooting. They killed a drug lord. They covered it up with the help of local law enforcement. They signed up for the community musical. They were a terrible psycho date. He cooked dinner for you. They almost drowned. They had sex in a treehouse. They kind of maybe pushed someone down the stairs to their death during a fight. They wound up imprisoned in an underground box in a field. They remembered some very, very bad things they may have done. They almost attempted suicide. A different they than the other they that I said before. They kissed for a little too long. Oh, and they managed to pass a lie detector test. Did we mention that they kissed? Because that lasted a little long. They are the characters of Bates Motel, and they made season 2 one to remember. They're also here today to answer all of our questions about all the twisted things that have happened so far and what kind of creepiness is still yet to come. We'll have the cast out here in just a few minutes. We have a few surprises in store for you guys too. But first, surprises maybe in the video form? Maybe surprise guests? You don't know. I don't know. But first, why don't we welcome to the stage the two people who are pulling all those strange strings on Bates Motel, and those would be executive producers Carlton Cuse and Kerry Ehrin.
We're really happy to see all you guys here. It's very exciting to be back at Comic-Con. The first thing that we wanted to do is actually, A&E has come up with a new title sequence for the show. We just thought we would debut it here and have you guys be the first people to see it. So let's show you that right now. That's pretty awesome. I mean, kind of a little bit of a different flavor for next year. I don't know. I think without any further ado, Kerry, I think we ought to, bring out the people they really want to see, which is our wonderful cast. So, first we would like to introduce the beautiful, wonderful Olivia Cooke.
Now we would like to introduce Nestor Carbonell.
Unfortunately, Max Chariot cannot be here today. He's shooting a Western in Mexico and couldn't make it up. But I'm sure you're all going to be very happy to see this next gentleman. Please give it up for Freddie Highmore!
And now we would like to introduce the fabulous Vera Farmiga.
Okay, all right, we're on our way.
So the first question is for Carlton and Kerry. I'm wondering if you guys can talk a little bit about what you wanted to accomplish thematically with season 2 and how that, and we'll get to season 3 in a bit, but how that sort of set up what you want to do in season 3.
Season 2 was very much about playing with the idea that Norma actually might get what she wants. That she would get very close to achieving her dream of being kind of hooked into the good life, running her motel, things going well.
Yeah. Season 2 was we kind of wanted to see this sort of story of Icarus flying close to the sun, and then we wanted to sort of see Norma's wings melt a little bit. And so season 3 is going to pick up not long after season 2 ends, and we're going to sort of see the consequences of what happened. Basically, we killed everybody except for our series regulars on the show. So that leaves kind of a big void in White Pine Bay, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens. And there's this kind of question, in a town where there's sort of some dubious morality, if you kill all the bad people, does it mean other bad people are going to show up? Or can this town exist without bad people? That's kind of a question that will be very much in play when the show starts.
A question to the cast about season 2. When you guys look back, what were your favorite scenes to shoot, or maybe your most challenging scene to shoot?
The box was good fun. Yeah, good episode with Nicole and Vancouver, that was lovely. And then the glacier-fed lake as well, which I don't think you quite appreciate when you watch Bates Motel, and as they go through their lovely. In fact, it was originally going to be a lovely dip in the river, and then when we discovered it was just absolutely freezing, it became a sort of cold thing to do.
Well, it was supposed to be summer. That was the idea. It was supposed to be a lovely summer day, and they went to take a swim in the pond in October. And it ended up, how cold was the water?
It was cold. We couldn't do it the first time because I think the water was too cold to go in, and so we went back at a later date. It was good though. It was fun. All the reactions are real. You don't have to act as you come out of freezing cold lake and go, oh, it's the Norman sort of thing we do. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, you're British. I mean, I thought, you only took cold water showers and stuff like that. I mean, kind of stiff constitution and all that stuff.
Yeah, so thank you. Yeah, it was home from home.
I was really amused by the Eat Your Pot Roast scene. I really like that one. I think because the dialogue in particular where Norma says to Norman, you slept with her, you didn't kill her, and he was no mother. I think I did. And she says, don't say that. It just epitomizes who they are. I think the most challenging for me was maybe this time singing that. I had never sang anybody with my children before, and I'd lost my voice on the day. And it was terrifying.
I was on the set that day, and I have to say that was an amazing performance. She had no voice. She had lost her voice, and she got out there and just killed it. It was a really, really awesome day.
Sex scene. I was no longer little innocent Emma in the director, the producer's eyes anymore, and the people that I've kind of grown up with in the show since I was 18.
We didn't judge you.
There's a bit of judging going on.
Olivia, did you get a haircut?
What are you talking about?
Maybe you should explain why you have that haircut. First of all, it's going to be super sci-fi this year on Bates Motel.
I'm playing Sheriff Romero's 12-year-old son in season 3. No, I did it for a movie that I just did called Meal and the Dying Girl, and I'm the dying girl.
For my part, I just love that Romero didn't mind looking at Norma change through the window and telling her as much. And he was completely unapologetic about it as well. I didn't mind.
Well, the season ends with Norman almost taking his own life and Norma talking him off the trigger. It's this very like emotionally wrought scene that's punctuated with that highly intimate kiss. I'm wondering for Vera and Freddie, I'm wondering what you thought of when you guys read that scene, and did you shoot that scene a couple different ways where there was a longer kiss or there was different types of intimacy? And no, not just about that too, but just between the interaction between them. What were the different ways you guys, approached that scene?
It wasn't really scientific because that was
Well, first, let me tell you,
2 seconds.
Well, first, there wasn't, I hadn't even seen the script, but apparently there was no kiss until Freddie Highmore read it.
This is true. Freddie imagined that part.
I just thought Norma would like a kiss. Suicide, that last thing. And it needed to be at least 3 seconds. That was Everyone talks about the kiss, but for us, I don't know. When we were doing it didn't seem to be this massive deal.
No, I think that for Norma, she's this, she's this broken down lioness, and she's taking care of this lion cub, and it's a life or death scenario. She's going to give him a few licks.
That's the best answer ever. Some congratulations are in order, I think, for Freddie, who just graduated from Cambridge.
With the highest of honors, if I may add, yes.
It was amazing to be able to combine the two of them. So.
It was actually one of the things that was an obstacle we had to overcome at the beginning of the show was, Freddie was very insistent on finishing his degree, and so we actually had to schedule the show with this 6-month window, and so from January until June of this last year, Freddie was actually in residence in Cambridge finishing his degree. What did you get your degree in, Freddie?
Arabic and Spanish.
So,
So I did a bit of time in between seasons, I guess. I was in Spain, Madrid mostly, with Spanish.
Yes, he's the only star of a television show who spent his hiatus translating documents in a law firm in Madrid. And anyway, so Freddie, I heard when you were actually in Spain, you had a chance to see Bates Motel in Spanish.
Yes, there were quite a few popping up in the Spanish language version. It seemed rather odd to me, and I was a little bit disappointed actually with some of the translations and some of the dubbing. So decided to take it upon myself to redo.
Seriously, so Freddie basically came to us and said, you know what, I've just finished, I've got my degree in Spanish. I would really like the opportunity to redub the entire series in Spanish myself. And he did an incredible job, and in fact, I think we have a couple of clips here that we'd like to show you. Ladies and gentlemen, the amazing Freddie Highmore in Spanish.
Question for Freddie. How much of Norman, believes that he is innocent at this point?
I guess less and less, maybe. Or it's this kind of, so I guess it's because of this split personality, there's one side of him that is completely innocent, that will always remain completely innocent. But that side of him, I think, is slowly slipping away. And obviously there's a lack of innocence immediately there in the moment he recognised what he was guilty of. And I guess, he's plagued by this innocence and also this blindness, which I think reflects both Norma and Norman, the blindness of love. And you sort of look from the outside of the relationship or two lovers and think, oh, don't do this, don't do that, but you can't ever really change the way that someone feels when that special bond. That's the sort of sadness of it.
And for Vera, I'm wondering, why does Norma prevent Norman from getting the help that he so desperately needs? How much of her is just worried that, he won't need her as much? How much is just rooted in misguided love?
Yeah, I don't think that professional help is in the toolkit. I think that if she... Look, if they may take him away from her. They may institutionalize him. It's not an option for her. And I think she genuinely thinks that she can just glue back the pieces of this like fragmented mind and heal her. And she's going to do that, you know. I think that she doesn't trust anybody. She has trust issues. She has major paranoia, you know. And so she's going to do herself.
Now, season 2 is going to be available on DVD, I believe, October 7th. And I'm wondering for you guys if there's any sort of extras or goodies that you're planning on there.
Actually, yes. There's some additional footage that did not make it onto the DVD this year.
Really?
Yeah.
We when you cast a television show, usually you watch, you put the actors on tape, and it's a way for everyone to not only review their performances, but there's a lot of people involved in the casting process, from the studio, the network, and all that. So we actually kind of went through the archives of the auditions that led to the hiring of our illustrious cast. Should we show them? Do we have them? Maybe we do. What do you think, Kerry?
I think that would be great.
Sounds scary.
Original auditions. Exclusively for Comic-Con.
Let's jump in a little bit and talk about season 3. I'm wondering, a question for Kerry and Carlton. Maybe one cryptic tease that you could give us about season 3. It could even be 3 words, 5 words, just anything.
3 or 5.
Both, actually. Yeah.
You can do the 3-word one.
I gotta think about that.
How about 4 words? Bradley will be back. Yes, and Nicola Peltz will be back for a number of episodes next year. We can officially and formally announce that we'll be seeing Bradley in season 3.
Any other new characters or cast changes that we can expect from the new season?
You know, I really loved working, forgot to mention this, one of my favorite scenes was the moment she lays eyes on Caleb. I think Kenny Johnson is a revelation. And then I thought that there's so much to be explored. Kenny Johnson.
So, needless to say, we will be learning a lot more about Caleb next year, and we are extremely pleased to have Kenny joining the cast as a regular for this coming season.
I'm really psyched to be with these guys. I mean, this is, to me, my favorite show. These guys are amazing actors and writers, and, you know, just I feel so blessed and happy to be here. So, Caleb, it's going to be a weird one, but here we go.
Kenny, what are Caleb's feelings for Norma? How would you sum them up besides complex?
For Norma, oh, I mean, there's a ton unspoken, unsaid. There needs to be things that are unresolved. And his, you know, his first love. I mean, when you have a brother and a sister growing up, you know, you love that person unconditionally normally. So I think there are a lot of things and events and weird circumstances that got them to where they were. So he needs to find this, you know, I don't know, some answers for himself. And you know, love. I mean, he loves his sister. I think he hoped when he first saw Norma that she was going to be like a different reaction than, you know, get out. She's like, wow.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot going there, and a lot that, you know, needs to be sifted through. I'm wondering for Carlton and Kerry if you could talk a little bit about what we can expect, what kind of shadings we can expect, and revelations about Caleb moving forward.
Well, it's such an incredibly complex relationship, and the fact that they came out of a history of such a dysfunctional home, and I think they were really probably kind of like two little prisoners of war in their home. And we're probably incredibly close. Obviously things took a turn at some point. I think there's a great deal of unfinished business between them. And what exactly the truth of what happened, we really don't know. It's a lot about perception of the characters and their idea of what happened in their head. And I think digging that out is going to be really interesting. But it's a loaded relationship because they were incredibly close, and then you add Norman into that. It's rather volatile.
Yeah, it's very early, obviously, and the actors don't know too much about season 3 yet, but I'm just wondering, is there something you would like to do? And you've got Carlton and Kerry's ear right now, if you'd like to plant a seed for what you'd like to see happen in season 3 with your character.
People keep coming up and saying, oh, Bates Hotel, like, I love Bates Hotel. But they're doing something I don't. You know, it's going to be an upgrade in the hotel. It's going to be moving to the centre of White Pine Bay, a big high rise, lovely views, thinking global, all run by mini serial killers around the world. I don't know, maybe not.
I think anytime I get to say the words jiggle, happy camera. That and rewriting history. I seem to rewrite history every season. Every time something goes down, I basically tell everybody, this is how it's going to be. So that's always a lot of fun.
You did so well.
Thank you. It doesn't work well at home.
It's also interesting to wonder what your history is.
I would love
For somebody who rewrites history so much.
Great talent.
we might find out some about it.
I'd like to see Norma take a vacation to Hawaii. Can I
Yeah, I got that idea, yeah.
Season 4, Bates Motel, Honolulu. Smoke Monster.
Don't start. Don't do it, man.
I think Carlton should be in it. We will keep persuading him to try and take a role in the show.
Yes, and there are rumors of that.
No comment.
want Emma to just go really extreme and like...
You mean like cut her hair off?
Yeah, why not?
Do you guys want to work that out backstage? Work out the hair stuff? No? Okay, good.
And it's like, and like work at a dive bar and like be a part-time like pole dancer or something. Just like take the experiences to the extreme and just go really just off course.
That's really interesting, actually. Love that idea.
No, see, we're really excited about season 3. We're about 4 episodes into working out the stories for season 3, but we've talked a lot about what's going to happen. And you know, it's very, as I mentioned before, it's really interesting because at the beginning of the season, the sort of two drug families have been sort of wiped out, and so that kind of creates a new order in town. And you know, there's also this huge revelation that's occurred for Norma and Norman, which is for Norman, it's this realization that he's capable of doing these horrible things. And I think there's a lot thematically this coming season about, you know, we all have good and bad within ourselves, and which side wins. And I think the characters are all sort of struggling with that. I think Norman, most of all, is going to be struggling with, you know, which side of himself is going to prevail. And I think for Norma, the question in a lot of ways is what will she or what won't she do to help protect Norman? And there's also this, kind of related to that, there's also this trust issue, because these two people are closer than any two people could possibly be, and yet there's this schism caused by this new knowledge that exists that, oh my gosh, you know, Norman is capable of doing these bad things. And so how does that affect their relationship going forward? And you know, we're really excited about it. We have a whole bunch of new characters. I mean, as we said, it's really wonderful to have Kenny on the show. It's going to be great to have Nicola back. And then we have a whole new set of characters in the town that we're going to be introducing. And, you know, honestly, I think the 3rd season is going to be the best season yet.
You mentioned, you know, bringing up the directness is good, because I'm wondering, there is that sort of power vacuum now at this point. Will you be spending the same amount of time on that storyline, or will it be a little different this coming season?
It is, yeah, I mean, the same amount of time is a little hard to answer. I mean, the story of the drug world is how does a town survive when their economy has been wiped out, and what does that look like, and what are the repercussions of it, and is Dylan going to step into that void? The season for Dylan is more about him trying to achieve a little dream of his own within that context.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us the show is this kind of mixture of kind of pulpy storytelling and really nuanced character work, and I kind of feel that by the end of season 2, a larger part of the audience kind of got what we were trying to do. I mean, at the beginning, we're obviously living in the shadow of this incredible movie, and I think people are like, what is this show? Like, it's a contemporary prequel? What? Like, wait, Norma's not bad? Like, wait, but she's a little crazy, I mean, there was a lot of things that were about it that I think took some adjusting, and the audience kind of had to get used to what it is we were trying to do, storytelling-wise. And so I think that still is our goal, so there'll be some kind of sensational, pulpy, larger-than-life narratives that we'll be following, but there's also going to be a lot of really wonderful character scenes, and we'll learn a lot more about these people. We might actually even figure out who Romero is a little bit more.
Do you know who's on Lost?
I do remember that, yes. So anyway, we're really excited about it, and I feel like we have a really good game plan.
All right, at this point, we do have a little special surprise for you at the end of the panel, but right now we'd like to open it up to the audience. So if anyone wants to come up and ask a question, you're welcome to do so now.
Hello. Okay, cool. Hi, my question is for Olivia. I know that you as an actor have been doing a lot of other projects recently, which is awesome. And I was wondering if for the next season of Bates, are you still going to be around just as much as you were in the first season?
I hope so.
And also, what's going on with your character's love life?
My character's love life, I don't know. I haven't been told anything. I don't know if Vanessa's going to be back and we're going to carry on where we left off. There's going to be, I'm just going to have a dry spell.
No. I mean, first of all, I think that we didn't do as good a job as we should have of keeping her character in the mix of the show last year, so there will be definitely more of Olivia's character in the show in season 3.
Yay!
Thank you.
And romance, but not
Right now.
A unique friend.
yeah, no, moving. I mean, we did the Gunner thing, but we have some other stuff coming up, which we love, and hopefully you will too.
Sounds
cryptic.
Yeah, it really does. What am I getting myself into?
I think I get Hi, I'm Ashley.
Hi.
I love your show, by the way. It's your actors. I love your guys' show. The writing is fantastic. The storyline is always keeping me on my toes. And Vera, you are amazing right now. You're exciting. But my question is for Freddy. How does it feel to play such an iconic character and making it your own, as unique as you can make it? How is that process?
Yeah, I guess the fact that we sort of brought it into the contemporary setting kind of gave us, I think all of us, this freedom to sort of leave behind and to some extent or be tied to the Psycho legacy. And I get there was never any attempt to sort of mimic people sort of Angela Perkins really who had done so in the past, and so perhaps that gave you freedom to kind of move on and not feel so nervous. But at the same time, you just got to sort of throw yourself into everything as you do it, and not try and doubt yourself about your decisions, and kind of trust in the brilliant people that are around you, and they'll guide you to the right path.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Karen. This is my first time speaking, so sorry if my question is a little off. Just want to say, Vera, my brother loves you. He's in Spain right now studying in Salamanca for Spanish, so he really wanted me to ask you a question. I guess it's for the entire cast. What made you decide to sign on for the show? Like, what was the thing that you read the script, or did you know who else is involved? And you were just like, hey, this is what I want to do for my next project.
It's just a formidable female character, and it's really rare to encounter that. And it was presented to me, and when you receive such a blessing of characterization, you know, that I mean, she's a large person, she swings the gamut. It's like you feel like a trapeze artist when you receive it, and you just thank you just thank the writers for thinking of you, you take it. There is no brainer.
Okay, you guys are all. Thank you.
All of a sudden I got nervous. Back on a question earlier about why you protect Norman, what are you afraid of? Maybe he's going to be taken away. Has it occurred to you that maybe you're afraid that you're an accessory and you're protecting yourself at the same time?
That's a part of it. I'm sure that is a part of it. I mean, that's all in the past. It's been squared away with Romero. I don't think it's I don't think she feels that impending doom. I think that's kind of been squared away with Romero first. See, there's an understanding. And there's this pact, and I think that's another thing that makes this relationship with Romero so, that tension between them and that magnetism. They have made a deal together. So, you know, she's not in the habit of trusting people, but she does trust Romero for the moment. No, I really don't think, I mean, in all my researching mothers and who give their testimonies on what it's like to raise a child with any neurological dysfunctioning, there's just no right way. There's just no clear way to help make that child better. But
it ends in taxi.
But I don't doubt her. I don't doubt her that yearning. That I mean, where she's coming from a good place.
And real quick, I think there should be a really good, feel-good Christmas special.
So do I.
And I was just in an argument last night about whether or not the roof of the house is digital. There are a lot of pictures of the roof being gone.
The first year, we didn't have enough money to put the top of the roof on the house. So it was like 2 stories and then just nothing. And then when the show got picked up, everybody was like, you know, we really should put a roof on the house. So it does exist in its full form, and we built it. It sits outside in the city of Vancouver, and there's a lot of skid marks on the road where people are driving down. It's on a public road, so people like come around the corner like, what? That's the, you know,
can you get
during the off season, it's actually fenced in, and there's a security guard, and it's all like wrapped in bubble wrap so that it doesn't freak people out.
So there's no chance for photo ops if you're up there?
You can stand outside the fence. Well, actually, you can't. I don't even think they let you park there. You can kind of drive by and take a snappy, but yeah.
They won't even let me in.
No, we actually, yes, tell the story that you went, so Vera went down there with her friend.
My friend, like my best friend from college, and it's true. I just said, let me in, this is my house. And he called the guy. There's footage of it online, you can find it. It's actually on Twitter. So.
But it's funny, so they were like, she was like, yeah, you're Norma Bates, really, And then, you know, made a call, and finally Vera was allowed in through security to see.
No, I went through a roster, but he didn't know much about Bates, and I said, you don't know much about Bates and you're guarding it? And then I started listening, and finally when I said The Departed, and he said, oh, yes.
And one more. On behalf of probably all of the women here, and probably a good percentage of the men, and Max is in here, he wears way too much clothing. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, duly noted, thank you.
Hi. I just think you all are so awesome, and the show is awesome, and just thank you for the joy of watching this show. My question is for all of the actors. How do you think your characters have developed over all of the seasons?
I guess for Norman, it's been this sort of journey of growing self-awareness And now at the end of the second season, he's kind of hit that point where he knows what he's going to put on. For a long time, he couldn't quite remember, and now he's put on the face. And I get based actually for Norma too, that the secret's out, although whatever else he's doing now is as well.
Yeah, for Norma, her big super objective is happiness and contentment and wholesomeness and stability. And you know, she was in search of that first season, and I loved seeing her achieve it second season, and I think she wants to retain it, and it's all, you know, it's leading now with this enlightenment about who he is. So I don't know where it's going.
I honestly feel like I've grown up a bit with Emma. I started when I was 18, and in those 2 years, I mean, it's only been 2 years. I'm 20 now, but I feel like in those 2 years, it was such important years for me growing up, and I feel like the same for Emma as well. Those 2 seasons that you saw her in, she did so much growing up. You know, she got her heart broken, she became a woman, she lost her innocence, and I definitely feel that there's a parallel there between the 2 characters, between me and her.
The interesting thing is, you know, when you make a show, you create a family, a fictional family on screen, but you also create this other whole family that exists behind the scenes, the family that makes the show. And I remember, like, we cast Olivia on this kind of grainy video that she made in Manchester, England, and Kerry and I were like, oh my gosh, who is this wonderful person? And we cast her really sight unseen, and Olivia, at 18 years of age, got on a plane from England, flew to Vancouver by herself, and to start doing this role, and it was incredibly brave and ballsy thing, and start this new kind of chapter of her life. And needless to say, other people started recognizing her talent, and now she's been doing all these movies and shaving her head and doing stuff like that. And no, it's just, so there is this parallel journey, not just the character, but you know, the life experience that comes when you make a commitment to do a show together.
We're very lucky that I get to work with incredibly talented people, but also people that I really like. And we all get together, we try and have dinners, and so it's a pretty special time, you know, for all of us when we're together, because we get along so well. And add to that, we get to perform or say words that are brilliantly scripted by our 2 incredible head writers. So, but no, for my part, I just love that Romero was not as much rattled by the obvious things like the drug lord or that kind of thing. That's sort of stuff he's dealt with, I guess, throughout his whole career. But what he was more rattled by was this woman who's suddenly come into this town and has bucked the system on her own terms, and she's sort of gotten under his skin, and he can't quite get rid of her. And at every turn, she's in his face, and he can't help but admire her in some fashion. Butt heads with her, but somehow kind of like her. So that's been sort of, the transformation of my character.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Sarah, and I just love you all. And I was wondering, what are some similarities and differences between you and your character?
Not loads. Me and Norman, it's not just me. No, Norman doesn't do languages, or yet, you know, he'll be...
Probably speaks in tongues.
Tongues. Yeah, they sort of get his new language. Or when they move to the Bates Hotel and open it up in Latin America somewhere, he'll be the man to run it. I don't know, I guess I'm not particularly similar to Norman. Do you think I am? At times.
You're both very thoughtful people. You're both very introspective and thoughtful.
Do you find that you find yourself identifying with one character particularly, like Is there one that you're like, oh, this is me, this is...
Yeah, I mean, I think when you write, you pull parts of yourself for every character. I mean, there's definitely a big DNA link with me and Norma. But also Norman, I mean, you know, I relate a lot to Norman. He's a really good kid. He wants his mom to be happy. I totally relate to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting when you write characters for television, you get very influenced by what actors do, and I think it's not so much who they are individually as people, but you start seeing what they do as performers. And for us, we have the incredible delight of working with this unparalleled cast, and they kind of make everything that we write better. And it's just always inspiring to write a script, send it up to Vancouver, and then we get it back and we see it, and it's just, it sort of exceeds our expectations in terms of what the performers bring to it, and that's and the fact that we get to kind of do that on an ongoing basis is it's probably the best part of the job. Yeah.
I wish I was remotely as badass as Romero. Every time I try to throw my weight around the house, my wife is like,
nice slip.
Stop right now. She's like, yeah, stop it with Romero. You're more like Phil Dunphy. Right?
Thank you.
By the way, I could totally see a swap on Modern Family if you guys swapped roles. I think that would totally be cool.
So can she.
We'll have time for one or two more questions.
Hello, my name is Cody. My question's for Carlton and Kerry. I have a friend up in LA, a good friend named Rob Galuzzo, and he directed The Psycho Legacy. It's a documentary about all the Psycho movies. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. But he also wrote an article for FearNet about the similarities between the show and how it's kind of like, it's Twin Peaks mixed with Smallville, and how it's kind of like he's not quite super, if you want to consider Norma Bates Superman, he's not quite Superman yet, but he wrote this article about different characters from all the movies, all four of them, that might show up like how they do on Smallville, like maybe like a character that hasn't become, you know, like how Norman hasn't become Norman yet. I can't think of all of them specifically, but the main one was Arbogast, the detective that Norman kills and falls down the stairs in the movie. If maybe we might see a younger version of him, maybe in seasons, like just, you know, offhand, or any Twin Peaks cameos from any of the actors from that show would be great.
You know, I think Twin Peaks was definitely an influence on us as, you know, for the show. I mean, look, you know, I came from Lost, Kerry came from Friday Night Lights. I mean, we kind of sort of think of our writing styles are significantly different, but they really go together well, and we kind of like refer ourselves as like chocolate and peanut butter. You know, they work well together, and you know, I think that we are trying to avoid being too referential. I think that when the audience is sitting there going, oh, I remember that from the movie, or that connects, like it sometimes throws you out of the story that you're watching.
That's kind of the things that we like the most, is like when Norman started talking in Mother's Voice, for some of us like diehard, the old Psycho movie fans, when he starts doing that, that's like a reference, almost like straight to us, just like, oh my God, he's doing the voice, or like any characters from the old movies would just be like, you know, like a little Easter egg, like kind of like the Marvel movies.
Yeah, I mean, there is obviously some of that. I mean, obviously Norman is on a parallel journey, and he's going to end up as some version of the Norman that we saw in the movie. So on his way to that place, there will be certain things that will happen, like talking in his mother's voice. You know, we don't see visions specifically in the original Psycho movie, but it's sort of implicit, you know, and so that sort of thing happens. And so I think, you know, we're kind of always searching for that balance of how we keep our story original and, you know, something that's our creation, but at the same time, you know, we are very well aware that we are making a show under the moniker of the Psycho banner.
It's a lot like the JJ Star Trek, it seems like. It's like an alternate universe. Like my friends who can't get into it, I tell them, just look at it like the new Star Trek. It's an alternate universe where Norman Bates lives in this world.
I was just going to add that the interesting thing about that scene you mentioned, where he talks in his mother's voice, we did not write the story, we didn't lead with that. And the story was very much just a real story about this kid confronting this guy that was scaring his mom. And then we got into what happens during that confrontation. And that's what that idea was formed, which was really exciting in it because it was grounded in such a real situation. And I mean, I think that's kind of the ideal way to do those types of things if you're going to do them, is just don't lead with them. Make it about the story and the characters, and then, you know, when they actually merge in the right way, in the right place, and it's grounded, they're fantastic.
Thank you very much.
That's all the time we have for questions, and now we move on to the final segment, and that is titled Get to Know the New Series Regular, Kenny Johnson. Now, many of you know him from The Shield, Len. Shield fans out here? What you may or may not know about Kenny is that he is a champion arm wrestler. Is this true?
World champion. No joke.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was world champion amateur arm wrestling 2 years ago, left-handed and right-handed. And I've been doing it for a lot of years. That's it. I mean, I like to take people on and make big bets, and that's how I got to know Max.
Could not accept it.
We like that.
He was losing every time.
I put down ridiculous bets like, if you can hold me up for a second, I'll give you $10,000. If I pin you, I'll give you $1. And that way everyone's like, well, obviously this guy can't, you know, take me down that fast. So that's usually how it gets started. And, I don't know, are you gonna make, make a bet tonight?
Well, so, you know, and a couple of people on stage have actually gone up against him. Carlton did, and Nestor did. They're in pain right now.
I'm literally sitting here with a smile on my face, and I'm like wondering if I pull a ligament in my elbow. It's like,
he didn't even try.
Nestor and I are backstage, just like holding our arms.
Do you have any ads?
Nestor's very strong, just so you know.
You didn't say anything about Carlton.
Carlton didn't try. He just wanted to know what was going on. He's like, what is going on?
I was actually trying. That's so embarrassing. That was my try.
All right, that's good. So what we thought we would do as a special treat is we're going to take the 3 strongest members in the audience, and you can arm wrestle Kenny Johnson. He will take on all 3 of you, one right in a row. But we need only the 3 strongest people in the audience. So think before you stand.
All right, we got one gentleman right over here. Come on down. Come on down, sir.
You look badass.
Let's give that a try.
I hope I get beat.
You, sir. Come on down, sir.
Yeah, there's another one. Yeah, that's good.
Come on.
Anyone. Okay, she can go.
All right.
I don't know how we're going to do this.
What? Okay. All right. Come on. Okay. Go.
This was not planned.
So we have a couple of candidates. Okay. All right.
Did you guys see Over the Top, that movie? This is going to be better.
All right.
That's one down.
All right. Wait. Shouldn't we like 1, 2, oh. 1, 2, go. And 2.
All right, we have to wrap this up. He will be wrestling all of you in the hallway. You can see him out there.
Okay.
So,
all right, this one's fair.
okay, well, they continue. There we go. Everyone for coming today. Thank you, Bates, the producers of Bates Motel, for joining us. They were great. And fans, you received a ticket upon entry for an exclusive poster, which you can pick up in the comments.